When the light dimmed, the heartbreaking moment, the world lost YuMenglong. It happened quietly, almost too quietly for a world that once echoed with his laughter, his voice, and his light. When the news broke that YuMenglong, beloved actor, singer, and the gentle soul behind countless unforgettable roles, was gone, it felt as though the universe itself had paused. The light dimmed not just in the sky, but in the hearts of millions who had come to see him as more than a celebrity. He was a feeling, a melody, a reminder that beauty and kindness could exist even in fleeting moments. For years, YuMenglong had been the embodiment of grace on and off screen. His fans often described him as sunlight in human form, a man whose presence was as calm as a spring morning and whose voice carried the warmth of something timeless. His performances, each one filled with subtle emotion and soulful restraint, captured the hearts of audiences around the world. Whether he was playing a prince torn by fate, a lover lost in time, or a dreamer chasing stars, he had an uncanny ability to make every scene feel real, every tear believable, every smile unforgettable. But on that day, when the world learned that YuMenglong had taken his final bow, everything changed. Social media flooded with disbelief. Fans refused to accept the truth. The thought that someone so alive, so full of quiet strength, could suddenly disappear felt impossible. His name began trending across every platform, not because of a new drama, not because of a song release, but because he was gone. The streets of Shanghai and Beijing saw spontaneous gatherings, crowds of mourners holding candles and photos of the man who had once made them believe in love and destiny. Some sang his songs softly through tears, their voices trembling under the weight of loss. Others simply stood in silence, their phones glowing with pictures and clips that now carried new meaning. His smile, once a symbol of joy, became a painful reminder of what was lost. Friends, colleagues, and co-stars spoke through broken words, their tributes filled with disbelief and sorrow. One close friend described him as the kind of soul that lit up every room, but never asked for attention. Another said he didn't just act, he lived in every role, every moment. His heart was his greatest script. For Xiaozhan, one of YuMenglong's dearest friends, the loss cut deeply. Those who saw him at the memorial described a man shattered beyond words. He stood before a portrait of YuMenglong, one that captured his gentle eyes and half-smile, and whispered something no one could hear. Then, unable to hold back the emotion, he broke down. Cameras caught that moment, the trembling shoulders, the silent tears, and it became one of the most heart-wrenching images of the day. Two stars who had once shared laughter and dreams, now separated by the cruel hands of fate. As tributes poured in from around the world, it became clear that YuMenglong was more than just a beloved celebrity. He was a symbol of hope. For many, he represented the beauty of humility in an age of noise. He never sought to dominate headlines, never courted controversy. Instead, he let his art speak for him. His voice, soft, melodic, yet full of emotion, had comforted fans during lonely nights. His dramas had carried messages of love, sacrifice, and healing. His interviews revealed a man who was thoughtful, introspective, and grateful for everything he had been given. But behind the radiant smile and calm composure, there were hints of quiet struggles, signs that perhaps few truly noticed. In his final interviews, he often spoke about the pressure of perfection, the exhaustion that came with always being the light for others. He had once said, "Sometimes being loved by millions can make you feel lonelier than being loved by one." Those words, once interpreted as poetic reflection, now sound hauntingly prophetic. The days following his passing felt endless. News channels replayed clips of his best moments, from his breakout role that made him a household name to his live performances, where his voice carried both vulnerability and strength. Fans revisited his music videos, flooding the comments with messages like, "You'll always shine for us," and "Thank you for everything," even if your light faded too soon. In cities across Asia, digital billboards that once promoted his projects turned into memorial walls. His image, glowing softly against the night sky, looked almost alive, as though he were still watching over the world that loved him so dearly. Some fans left flowers beneath those billboards. Others brought handwritten letters, folded neatly with trembling hands, whispering prayers as they placed them down. At his memorial, the atmosphere was almost cinematic. Thousands dressed in white, the air heavy with emotion. A piano played one of his most famous songs, and as the first notes echoed, the crowd began to hum along. It was not just mourning. It was love in its purest, rawest form. When the music faded, silence followed, deep, absolute, the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. The entertainment world stood still. Productions halted, premieres postponed. Every corner of the industry seemed to echo with his absence. His last drama, which had wrapped filming just months before, became a sacred memory for those involved. The director, unable to hold back tears, said, "He left us a masterpiece, and we didn't even know it was goodbye." What makes YuMenglong's passing so devastating is not just that he is gone, but that he left at a time when his light was still rising. He was in his prime, his artistry maturing, his fame spreading globally. There was still so much he could have given, so many dreams left unspoken. His silence now feels louder than any song he ever sang. For those who knew him personally, the grief runs even deeper. They speak of his kindness, the way he always arrived early to set, the way he treated every crew member with the same respect he gave to directors. They remember how he often stayed behind to help clean up after filming, insisting, "We're all part of the same story." He never believed in hierarchy, only humanity. In the weeks that followed, his fan base united in an unspoken vow to keep his legacy alive. Fan pages turned into virtual shrines. Edits, artworks, and letters flooded timelines, creating a digital sea of love that refused to let his memory fade. The world may have lost YuMenglong, but his spirit continued to ripple through those who adored him. Somewhere, perhaps in another world, he's still smiling that gentle smile, still singing softly under the dim glow of an unseen light. Maybe he's watching as millions still play his songs, still rewatch his dramas, still speak his name with reverence and tears. Maybe he knows now just how deeply he was loved. The tragedy of YuMenglong's death is not just in his departure, but in the emptiness it left behind. The entertainment world feels quieter. The fans feel a little colder. Even the stars seem to shine differently, as if dimmed by grief. Yet in that dimness lies a strange, delicate beauty. Because even though he is gone, the love he inspired remains. It flickers like a candle in a storm, fragile but unwavering. As the world slowly learns to move forward, there is a collective promise in the hearts of his admirers that they will never let his light die. They will remember him not with pity, but with pride. They will speak of him not as a fallen star, but as one who shone so brightly that even in darkness his glow lingers on. The silence that followed YuMenglong's passing wasn't just emotional, it was haunting. Streets that once glowed with posters of his smiling face seemed almost empty now, like the color had drained from the world itself. Fans who had once cheered his name now whispered it in disbelief, afraid that saying it too loudly might make the loss too real. It was as if the entire entertainment world had forgotten how to breathe. In the first days after the news broke, millions clung desperately to hope that it was all a mistake. Fake news, they said, a rumor, a misunderstanding. But as official statements came pouring in from his agency, his family, and his co-stars, denial turned into heartbreak. The confirmation struck like lightning, sudden, merciless, and unforgettable. YuMenglong was gone. What remained was the echo of a life that had touched countless souls. Old interviews resurfaced on social media, moments where he laughed softly, where his eyes sparkled with quiet joy. Fans replayed them again and again, as if somehow, through repetition, they could bring him back. In one of those clips, he smiled shyly when asked about the secret behind his success and said, "Maybe it's because I don't act to be seen. I act to feel." Those words, once a humble remark, now felt like a farewell. His art was never about fame. It was about emotion, connection, and truth. Across China and beyond, vigils began to light up the nights. Entire parks shimmered with candlelight as fans gathered to mourn. They sang his songs softly through trembling voices as photos of him played on giant screens. Some brought flowers, others brought letters. One little girl, no more than 9, held a drawing of YuMenglong in her tiny hands. Her mother explained that he had been her favorite actor, that she would rush to the television every time he appeared. The little girl whispered, he was like a prince who never wanted a crown. That innocence captured what everyone felt. YuMenglong's charm had always been effortless. He wasn't the loudest nor the most flamboyant, but he had a way of stealing hearts with gentleness. Whether on screen or off, he radiated warmth. It wasn't just his looks that drew people in, but the kindness behind his eyes, the sincerity in his voice. The night of his official memorial became one of the most emotional moments in recent entertainment history. Thousands of fans lined up for hours, holding white lilies and black ribbons. The air was thick with grief, yet strangely peaceful. Inside the hall, soft music played, a piano version of one of his most beloved songs, If Only We Could Stay. The melody lingered like a heartbeat. Xiao Zhan, still visibly broken, took a quiet seat near the front. He avoided cameras, but when he stood to speak, the room fell completely silent. His voice cracked as he said, he wasn't just my friend, he was my brother. He taught me that gentleness is not weakness. And now, I don't know how to say goodbye. Those words, raw and unguarded, drew tears from nearly everyone present. As the memorial continued, a screen displayed moments from YuMenglong's career. Scenes that had made audiences laugh, cry, and fall in love. His character transformations, his graceful movements, the sparkle in his eyes. It was all there, immortalized in moving pictures. But as the reel ended, a single image remained. YuMenglong smiling softly beneath cherry blossoms, eyes lifted toward the light. The crowd stood as one, applauding through tears. It was not a farewell, it was a thank you. In the following weeks, the grief did not fade. Fans organized charity events in his honor, raising funds for causes he once quietly supported: animal welfare, children's education, and mental health awareness. Many were surprised to learn how much he had done behind the scenes. He had donated anonymously to several hospitals and orphanages, never seeking recognition. He didn't want to be seen doing good, one of his close friends revealed. He just wanted the good to be done. His music took on new life after his passing. Streams multiplied overnight, with fans describing the experience as both painful and healing. Listening to his voice now felt different. It carried an echo of eternity. His lyrics, often filled with longing and hope, became messages from another world. The song Moonlight's Embrace climbed to the top of the charts again, years after its release. In it he sang, "If I fade away, let my light touch your heart one last time." It was as if he had known. Television networks aired reruns of his dramas, each scene now seen through a veil of nostalgia. Every smile, every gesture, every whispered line felt precious. Fans around the world synchronized online watch parties, leaving comments that read like love letters. "We miss you. You changed my life. Your light still guides us." Some confessed that YuMenglong's art had saved them during dark times, that his gentle presence through the screen had been a reason to keep going. Even in his absence, he continued to heal. As time passed, people began to speak not only of the pain of losing him, but of the beauty of what he left behind. His legacy became a movement, artists inspired by his sincerity, fans learning to love a little deeper, and strangers showing kindness in his name. The hashtag #LiveLikeYuMenglong began trending, symbolizing compassion, humility, and authenticity, the very traits that defined him. There was a haunting beauty in how the world chose to remember him. Instead of fading into sadness, his memory became light again, a softer, more eternal kind. Mural artists painted his likeness across city walls, capturing that familiar, serene gaze. Street performers played his songs under moonlit skies. Entire fan communities began annual light nights, where thousands lit candles at exactly the same time, each flame symbolizing his everlasting glow. And though he was gone, he was everywhere, in songs, in smiles, in the hearts of those he touched. Sometimes, when people spoke of YuMenglong, they said it felt as though he hadn't left completely, that his soul lingered quietly in every act of kindness, in every melody that drifts softly through the night. His story was no longer just about fame or tragedy. It became a testament to love, the kind that survives even death. The light that dimmed the day he left has never gone completely dark. It flickers in the eyes of those who still believe in gentleness. It burns in the hearts of those who still remember his words. And as long as someone whispers his name with love, YuMenglong lives on, not just as a star, but as a memory that refuses to fade. Because legends don't die when their hearts stop beating. They live on in the love they leave behind. And in that way, YuMenglong's light will forever shine, quietly, beautifully, and eternally.